Thank you for listening to Depictions Media Radio. And welcome back, everyone. We're here today with Dream Receivers founder and lead coach, and also the host of A Taste of NLP, Diane Hume. Diane Hume also, she has been a host with me on a couple of radio stations, and she also does her own video talk show, the Dream Receiver Show, where she's interviewed several people. And I'm sure Diane has lots of tips and adages today to so that we can just get through this time period with COVID-19. So let's welcome Diane to the show. Welcome to the show, Diane.
Thank you, Michael. It's such an honor and a privilege to be on your show again. Wow.
Yeah.
Excited.
Yeah. So, I know you've been really busy with because you were doing live events with the Taste of NLP, right?
Yes, for over a year now.
Yeah. And I think you messaged me that you were converting them to Zoom meetings or some online based way of getting at them, right?
Yes, we've had 3 webinars now for the Taste of NLP, or master classes, I guess you can say. Doing it all online, like everyone else seems to be doing. But I'm so excited that we have this platform, at least with technology, to be able to still reach so many. And I'm just honored that I can at least do it that way. And it's been kind of a bit of a blessing in disguise in a lot of ways, because many people didn't want to come all the way out to White Rock, and now anyone can come on from anywhere. So it's a big world out there.
Yeah. So has this the online platform actually expanded your audience?
Yes, it has. Because many people went, well, you know what, White Rock, that's just way too far. Or I live in Ontario, or I live in other areas, and now they can attend if they want.
Yeah. So
wherever they are. So
how are you and your family getting through passing the time with this order to be indoors and stay at home?
Yes, it's been kind of not a huge transition for us, because my husband and I both work from home. So he's up in his office and I'm up in mine, or down in mine. Mm-hmm. So it's been not too much of an adjustment there. It's just some of the regular routines that we used to do is not there now, like many of us. And I can be pretty sporadic. I like being spontaneous. However, my husband really likes structure, routine. Every single day, he knows where he needs to be, what he has to do, and it's really thrown him for a loop, because he is diabetic and he can't go out and get the groceries like he used to. Yeah. Because of his compromised immune system. So that has been a huge adjustment, along with my daughter's diabetes as well. She cannot go out. She doesn't feel comfortable going out because of her having the H1N1 in her high school year, and then now this, and it seems like it's quite a bit more powerful than the H1N1 seems to be, obviously. Yeah. And so she has a lot of fear, and we all just want to keep them safe. So, and then my mother's also is in her 80s, so I'm the one running and doing the grocery shopping. And it's funny, I used to do that a long time ago, but now that's that's my job now. And for some reason, I don't come back with the exact things I'm supposed to. I always miss one thing. Dang, just one thing. Where's the carrots? Oh, how did I miss that? I checked it off on the list.
It's always funny. I know. I know. Me and my siblings have my mother on lockdown right now. And gratefully, my mother actually lives in the same neighborhood as my sister, because me and my brother, we actually, well, I'm on the opposite end of the continent. Yeah. But my brother, he is in a neighboring state, and he's not allowed to cross the state lines right now. So he's not even, and he's a nurse, not even using his nursing ID are they allowing him to cross the state line. So gratefully, my sister doesn't live too far away and can get over and deliver groceries to her door. But we're not allowing anybody inside my mother's apartment. so yeah. And is your mom going a little stir crazy too?
She is, and for some reason, she is insisting that she come grocery shopping with me during the seniors.
Yeah.
Times. So, yeah. But the only thing is then I need to pick her up, and not too sure if that's the just thing, because now we're in close quarters of each other.
Yeah, because I know certain areas they're saying that if you don't live at the same address, you can't be in the same car. I
just heard about that. In Alberta, they have lockdown on that.
Yeah. So
but
anyway.
It might be because she doesn't trust me to bring back everything that I'm supposed to.
Yeah. So in some way, yeah. you know how our mothers are. It's like no, that was the wrong brand. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, the wrong brand.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. I do remember that from having to grocery shop. It was under better times. I had to grocery shop for my mother. It's like, but that's what they had. Sorry.
Yes, that's the other thing. I had to come back at the time because they had actually run out of those little yogurts. So I got her the coconut milk yogurt, and I don't think she was pleased with that. I think she thinks that I did that on purpose. But I didn't.
No, I know you're not a big fan of eating animal products. Because I mean, this is radio, so we can't actually see. It's like people have to pull up a series of pictures of you, but you still have that vibrant cheerleader look, you know?
Yes, it's one of my gifts is cheerleading people on.
Yeah.
It's one thing I love to do.
So, in your workshops, what are some of the fears that people may be expressing, because they're indoors and they can't go outside because the virus is going to get them,
Yes, the immune system of people, that's one fear. One of the biggest ones that I hear is that I can't hug my mom, or I can't hug. The lack of hugging is really affecting people in that manner. And also, being quarantined, there is a lot of frustration. So there is a lot of arguments happening in the home. Mm-hmm. And I've been approached about that a few times. How in the world do I get through being day in, day out, starting to feel like Groundhog Day, goes day in, day out, and the frustrations with each other. So I've been helping a lot of people through relationships and how to be in right emotional state through this, to honor and listen, but to also put ourselves into a know-nothing state of mind, a curious state, and to realize that sometimes one emotion gets higher than the next, just to feel better from the one below, meaning fear can turn into frustration and can turn into anger. And this is happening a lot right now. It's a normal, natural progress that many people have, but that awareness out there is not so much, and a lot of things are being taken personally, and it has nothing to do with the original thing that they're arguing about. So I'm helping a lot of people through that right now, because we certainly don't want breakups to be happening over this. And the other thing I'm finding is this is also a time to really do self-reflection, and a lot of people don't want to do that. I'm finding.
Why do you think they wouldn't want to do the self-reflecting?
Yeah, it's just easier in the emotional steps, going from one to the next, to get into a possible blame state. We can always go to blaming the government, blaming our loved ones, blaming acquaintances, blaming something we saw on TV, like just constantly being in that negative vibrational state that doesn't really serve. And this is a true example, and watching and listening the way people are communicating with each other is pretty heavy right now.
So,
did I answer your question?
Yeah, it is answering my question. So how? Because first off, we got to get the heaviness off of us. How do we lighten that up?
Yeah. So in neuro-linguistic programming, we talk a lot about anchoring in a better feeling thought, and sometimes that's not as easier said than done. And I always say, honor where you are, honor the fact that you're feeling fear or grief, depression, despair, and powerlessness. Accept that and know that, but be aware that you're there. Because if we're not aware that we're there, we can tend to try to struggle out of it. I'm saying try, because it is a real struggle to get when you're at that bottom low vibration. It's a huge struggle to get out. So it's easier to get into, say, insecurity and unworthiness, and that feeling of being trapped is actually a better feeling thought than fear, grief, depression. So we start going up, and then jealousy, hatred, rage, envy of somebody else's in their situation, or that it's better than yours, or whatever that may be, and then it can turn into anger,
right,
and blame. And I just heard on the news that there's been quite a rise in violence, domestic abuse out there, and that is very scary. Yet if we could just realize that no, it's not about this thing that we're feeling angry about, we're actually reaching for a better feeling. And unfortunately, sometimes that is rage, because it feels better than grief and fear. So just helping people through that, and realizing that, not to match the rage back, to reach for a higher vibrational thought, feeling, into at least hopefulness, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
It's not always easy. I get it. If somebody's raging at you, to jump up into that better feeling thought. But if you're aware, it's so much easier, because I'll even notice my husband reaching for that next feeling thought. And I can look at it now from a know-nothing state, not taking any judgment from it, and get into a curious state, which is like neutral, I think of in a car. When you just stick it in neutral, and you're not going in any gear, but you're just curious.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you this then. How do you put yourself into that neutral state? Because I know that personally, it's hard to put yourself in neutral when somebody's raging at you, right? It's not easy, and I'm sure if I'm thinking that, most of the listeners are thinking, that's got to be crazy. But in reality, Diane, how do I put myself in neutral?
Yes, get that a lot. There is a few new techniques, actually. It's called in new code, mm-hmm. Neuro-linguistic programming, which unfortunately the big class I was supposed to be in at the end of May is in Italy. But luckily I have I've got my new code certification, and I learned a lot about the being able to put ourselves into the know-nothing state. Mm-hmm. And it's it takes a little getting used to, but they say that, and it's really true, that if you are planning, you usually put your tongue at the roof of your mouth. If you're thinking and listening intensively for and judging about what someone's saying or anything like that, or when we say, oh, I know that already, that kind of stuff, and then we don't learn, that's usually we've got our tongue actually to the roof of our mouth.
Okay, that's funny, because right now I have the tongue in the roof of my mouth.
Yeah. And what we do is, in the classes, we actually we scare people, like boo, to really scare them, like while they have their tongue at the roof of their mouth, and you'll notice that they actually drop their tongue.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there's those techniques. There's so many different ways that you can get yourself into a better feeling thought that can save, I believe, this is just my opinion, and also from people that I've heard, my clients and that too, that it's life-changing. I tried it I tested it out on my husband, and he actually responded. It actually worked. So I believe it's almost like a clear, cancel, delete, kind of like reboot. Mm-hmm. By doing that, so then we can at least look at this from, okay, he's only reaching for another better feeling thought, or she's only really reaching for a better feeling thought right now.
Right.
And to be in that curious, supportive state of what's the positive intention for this. Mm-hmm. And it's usually to get to the next better feeling, even though it's not a good emotional state to be in. Because you know that yourself, that if you're in an emotional state that doesn't serve you, most likely you're going to behave in a way that you don't want to as well.
Yeah. So, just for a brief second, I'm going to mimic a conversation, and I'll be honest with you. This kind of triggers me at times. Is I am in an emotional state. Sometimes I know what emotional state I'm in. Sometimes I don't, and sometimes I don't care. I just know I'm in a state, and somebody will say to me that, well, you must be angry. Right?
Worst thing to say.
I'll be honest with you. It triggers me. I'm like, no. Why are you accusing me of something? It's usually my response. Is, why are you accusing me of something? Instead of, if you think somebody's in an emotional state, is it better to ask them what they're feeling?
First of all,
you stay that step away from pushing buttons.
Yep. First of all, well, let's just look at you, because that's the only person you can really control, right?
Right.
So there was a trigger. You must be angry. So right away you said the word why. And the rule book is you only say why if you're going towards what you want. Your why, like Simon Sinek says, that's the way to go.
Right.
Your why, that way. We hear a lot about that, right?
Right.
But if we go to why towards the negative, why are you saying that I'm angry? Now you'll get, because they're insensitive, maybe. Now you're going to have to get answers that will get you into the next state. So really, if you are angry, now you can blame this person for making you angry. So now you're in the next state. Now you're in the next ladder, next step.
Right.
So now you're in disappointment, doubt, worry, blame. Then you might go to impatient and overwhelmed and irritated.
Well, I can be rest assured you. I can tell you that irritation is soon to follow. Yes.
So it's just, if you're going the opposite way of what you're asking, why am I in this negative state right now? If we're saying why, then you'll get the reason, because that person told me I was angry and I'm not, or whatever, but I am now. It's just, it won't bring a solution, and what you want is a solution, because especially in these times where any flu season is going on, but especially a pandemic like this, your immune system is actually affected by these lower vibrational states that we're getting ourselves into.
Yeah. Okay. So I've heard two things about this, and this is very, very scientific, because NLP is really science.
Yes.
The two things that I've heard is, one, raising your vibration into, because when you do your class, you usually show the vibration, the vibrational ladder, the red zones and then the green zones, and you want to get out of that red zone and into the green zones, because that's where your immune system actually kicks in and gets strong, right?
Right. And I must say that this ladder theory, there's other types of, not companies, but other but the one that I am using for this is actually through Ask and It Is Given, through Esther and Jerry Hicks. But the reason why I use it, so that is not NLP, it's more law of attraction. However, I use it because NLP is so much about our emotional state. So I like to use the ladder as a metaphor, so to speak, to show how these ladder, how it goes up, and then combining in. And I mean, people really don't need to know what tools I'm using. However, I do like to give credit where credit is due of where I'm getting my information from, as far as looking at labeling the ladder. Okay, just to make that clear.
Okay, cool. I'm glad we got that clear. But it's such a great visual than more than is like, oh, I'm because most people, when they visualize, green is go, I'm free, and red is stop, I'm frozen, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing I want to point out, though, is that there is medical research saying that there are certain foods that we should be eating to boost our immune system against COVID-19, because there is a pH that we need our body to stay at in order to give our bodies a non-inviting environment to the virus. It wants to leave if the pH is too high. So there's certain foods that they were saying, medical science is saying that we should eat, that we eat foods that are high in pH, and it'll boost our immune system against the virus. But okay, so back to our conversation though. What are some tips if you see that our spouse or whoever we are in the house with for an extended period of times, we see they're triggered. What are some tips to handling their trigger so that we can all stay in that green area of our emotional states?
First of all, put yourself in neutral. Drop your tongue. Be in a know-nothing state. Then get curious. And don't ask why if it's in the red. Because you'll just add fuel to the fire. So, first thing, how am I getting triggered right now? How am I doing that? What is my step-by-step process to get in this emotional state right now? Because we all have one. We all have a pattern.
Right.
Oh, him saying this, so it's like a cause and effect. Him saying that I'm angry got me angry. Or whatever it was that you had gone into when he called you angry.
Right.
You weren't angry, but now you are.
Right.
But then to go and say, why would he say that? Yeah. So, know nothing state, drop your tongue, and be curious. Curious internally about yourself, too.
Right.
Because you might match the person. Like a guitar, like I've explained before, is you have a guitar in one corner and you have another guitar in another corner. You click or you pluck the B note on one guitar, and then the vibration matches the B note on the other guitar. So it's the same with these emotional states. So it's asking the right question in simple language. Know nothing state, curious, ask a question. How or what?
Right. Okay. How or what?
Right.
As opposed to why.
Why. Right. And you can test it out, try it out. I don't know if you want to give me another scenario, but that's pretty well the the
Uh,
the gist of it?
Yeah. So that's if somebody did something or another. You're feeling triggered. What if we see our spouse is being triggered? What would you advise us to do there?
Okay, do you want to just give me an example of your spouse being, or somebody's spouses being triggered?
Okay, so recently I made a comment about I wish that we had some Lysol spray to spray the steering wheel and the interior of the car with, as opposed to just using wipes, because the wipes don't get wet enough to make sure that virus spores are killed.
Okay. And
that was met with, well, this is what we have. And
okay, that's what you have.
yeah.
So what happened then? You just wished that you had the other one instead?
Yeah, I was just wishing for it, but this is what we have, and the spouse gets upset because this is what we have. It's like, and I guess the response would be something more of, well, this is what we have, and I guess what I got in the store wasn't good enough.
Okay, so you bought what you did in the store, and then it was not really the right right stuff.
But it's what's
all you
available.
had, of course.
It's what's available.
You get what you get, right?
Yeah. Get what you get.
But just looking at just getting out, like, first thing we want to do is jump into why.
Mm-hmm.
Why you have the Lysol wipes instead of the Lysol spray, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's the first thing we want to do, is defend ourselves, right? So my question to you is, how did you feel when you were told that the Lysol spray would have been better than the wipes?
Oh, how would I have felt?
Yeah. Or just wait, is that you saying
no,
this?
I was the one. I was the one making the comment there. I wish we would have gotten the yeah.
Okay.
But that's always available. But that's always available in the store for her to buy.
Right.
Yeah, and I was totally accepting.
Was she
of that.
triggered then when
she was.
Said, "Okay, wish it was the other one instead of this one," type thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then, what did she say once you said that?
My efforts weren't good enough.
That your efforts weren't good enough. That's what she said.
Okay. That's what her response back to me was.
Okay. So how did you feel when she said your efforts weren't good enough?
I thought her efforts were brilliant because she came back with something. It was just making. My thoughts were her efforts were brilliant because she at least found something.
Okay, I thought you said the efforts. I thought it was her that said to you that your efforts weren't good enough.
No, she said that her efforts weren't good enough.
Oh, she's talking about herself.
Yeah, she's talking about herself. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, right then and there, how did that make you feel when she said that about herself? Not being good enough, for not putting in a bigger effort. How did that make you feel?
I would say that it definitely took me down a couple rungs on the ladder, because I felt bad that I wasn't trying to be critical. Right. I felt bad I felt bad that she thought I was being critical. I really wasn't trying to be critical.
Right. So how did it feel that in your mind that you thought that she was being critical?
That she thought I was being critical of her efforts? I didn't feel comfortable at all. I felt very uncomfortable.
Okay. So that's where we start.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we start with, now you're in a discomfort.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe feeling discouraged. Would it be discouraged?
Just
Or guilty?
maybe guilty.
Guilty.
Yeah.
Okay, so guilt. See, now guilt feels better than fear and grief and depression.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about the widget, the spray, or the wipes. But you know what? Guilt feels a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
So we look for something. We actually look for something to feel guilty about because it feels better than fear and grief.
Mm-hmm.
So if we realize that with someone, that they're just, oh, you just want to be guilty because it feels better than fear.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can drop our tongue into a know-nothing state, get curious
Mm-hmm.
about how does her forgetting the wipes or not being able to get the spray make it that she's not good enough. So now it comes into how.
Right.
So you get curious and go, oh, how does you not being able to get the spray make you not good enough? I'm just curious.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So she's less likely then to go into why. Like, well, that's all I could get, and I went here and there already. I put a good effort into it, and then getting defensive, right?
Right.
Instead, it would be she would look at, well, I don't know why. Like, I don't know how I feel not good enough because I couldn't get, or I should have maybe gone to other stores, or possibly, but it would be forward thinking to tasks and steps to take to allow her to think that she is good enough.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does actually. So you're trying to leave it in an open field where she can, you're neutral, so you're the open field to allow her to feel good enough about what she actually bought.
Yes, and instead of us going, oh, you're good enough, we want them to say it because it's more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
You're just saying that because you want me to feel better or whatever.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But let me just be in my guilt kind of thing. But if these questions are asked, it brings us up higher on the emotional ladder, which would be like hopefulness.
Right.
And you can start to get ideas like, oh, maybe I can just add some water to it, or I may get some other ideas.
Right.
Of
mm-hmm.
whatever the thing is.
Mm-hmm. Right. That makes sense, though. You know? So.
Yeah. It is complicated. It'd be better if it came out to the taste of NLP and I explained it a little.
Yeah. So
better.
So why don't you give everybody that information so that they know how to get into a taste of NLP, and maybe here they can draw on their own examples firsthand while you're teaching the webinar.
Sure. They can go to dianehume.com
mm-hmm.
and they can go to NLP Cafe, I believe it's called on there. Click on that, and then it will ask you for your name and email address, and then I can send you the link, because I'm hearing now that that's the safest way to send your link now to people individually like that,
mm-hmm.
as opposed to advertising it on everywhere.
Yeah. Okay.
And then I'll give passwords and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So the next one is tomorrow morning, but you might be listening to this at another time. But you can go to that place and it will tell you when the next one is.
Right. Okay, great. So, thank you for joining us today, Diane.
Thank you. And, stay safe. Keep the emotions in the green zone, the pleasant zone, rather than the unpleasant zone. And we'll get through this.
Yeah. So,
with love and trust.
That's right. Love and trust, they give us strength and endurance, right?
Yes. Coming from this place is a lot easier to figure out what to do next. And again, I'm very saddened that so many people are getting so sick with this virus. However, I'm also hopeful that we're going to be through this.
Yeah.
And that we're together, and that there are golden moments that we can use now to learn new things and learn new ways of knowing ourselves better. So super excited that you invited me, and I'm very passionate about getting this message out, because I don't want to see immune systems going down just because of the frustrations,
right,
and anger, and people being hurt. So
yeah. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you everybody for listening today. And go to DianeHume.com and look for the link to for the Taste of NLP, or NLP Cafe. Is that right?
Yeah, that's the way it's written on my website right now. Yes.
Okay, and we will talk to everybody again next time. This show has been produced by Depictions Media. Please contact us at depictions.media for more information.